For our Bloomberg audiences worldwide, I'm David Westin. We're joined now by the two CEOs who are putting together the big deal in finance these days. They are Larry Fink. He is Chairman and CEO of BlackRock, as well as Adebayo Ogunlesi. He is Chairman and CEO of GIP. So welcome. Thanks very much for joining us.
Hi, David.
Thank you, David.
Any big deal like this, and this is a big deal, $12.5 billion last time I counted. Any big deal, there's got to be an imperative behind it. So Larry, let me start with you, from BlackRock's point of view. Why do you need this deal? You already are in infrastructure. You've got a pretty substantial operation there. You identify as an opportunity, but why do you need GIP to get done what you want to get done?
Well, thank you, David. It's great to be here today. No, we believe infrastructure is only at the beginning of a real major asset class. There are some structural demands that are going to increase the issuance of more and more infrastructure. I've said for all along, and Bloomberg has been talking about that for a number of years, that deficits matter. It's going to be harder and harder for countries to continue to deficit finance. And at the same time, there's a giant need to rebuild and build out infrastructure, whether it is the digital infrastructure, as we are all trying to become more engaged with AI and other forms. We have a decarbonization process. More and more countries are more interested than ever before in energy independence. And one of the ways in countries that do not have available hydrocarbons, they're going to be doing it through wind and solar, maybe other forms of decarbonization. We have corporations now that are using partial infrastructure sales as a mechanism to finance their future growth. And then from the demand side, what can be better for retirement investors than long duration assets with a high coupon that is inflation protected? So you think about, our clients, 65% of our clients are retirement assets. And when you think about BlackRock and the roles we play with many governments, our continuous ownership in stock and bonds of every major corporation in the world, more and more companies are coming to us. And over the last few years, we did build up a very large and really successful infrastructure team. But I've always looked with envy, with admiration to what Bayo and his team have done. We are both refugees from First Boston. We knew each other at First Boston. We have a common culture. We laugh about what we learned at First Boston over dinners. Yep. And so with the respect, the appreciation of GIP, when you think about GIP, what are they known for? They invest in major and larger projects than we did in infrastructure, like Gatwick Airport and Sydney Airport. Right. But they're particularly superb in the operational efficiencies of these investments. They improve the quality of service. And so if you think about what we have brought at BlackRock over the last 8 years in infrastructure, what GIP has been doing since 2006, the two organizations look like a perfect match, and then you've overlaid the cultural connection. And we always underestimate the cultural connections. In our business is a business of people. Right. And if you don't have that cultural connection, that friendship, that continuity, it makes it harder to do. So I think we have the business strategy down. I'm confident we are in the early part of this infrastructure revolution. Mm-hmm. And we wanted to have the scale. We wanted to have the expertise, the operational expertise of GIP, marrying that expertise with BlackRock's global relationships with companies and governments, marrying our existing expertise in decarbonization and infrastructure. It's a perfect partnership.
So, Bayo, I think Larry's laid out the opportunity here, which is enormous. Let me ask you why you need BlackRock, and particularly, this is your life's work. Yep. The I in GIP is infrastructure, after all. You've built this program. Yep. Why are you willing to give up your life's work and go to work for BlackRock?
Well, first, thanks for having me, and I wish you'd asked this question before we negotiated the deal, because then I could ask Larry for more money, okay? No, look, obviously we've been reasonably successful at what we do, and I completely agree with Larry. This is going to be the golden age of infrastructure investing. both in terms of the need for capital as well as investors who want that capital, okay? And so the question we asked ourselves was, how can we accelerate the pace at which we're getting things done? Investing in new assets as well as getting pension funds, wealth funds, asset managers to give us additional capital. And so if you look at the marriage between ourselves and BlackRock, Rob Kavito said it was 1 + 1 = 4. I'm not sure whether it was 4 or 5 or 3, but he's certainly right that 1 + 1 is more than 2. As Larry said, perfect mirror images of each other. They have a great infrastructure business, but very complementary with ours. We do large cap transactions, they do mid cap transactions. They have a terrific infrastructure debt business. It's primarily investment grade. Ours is primarily below investment grade. They have an infrastructure solutions business, which we don't have. So you put these two businesses together. We can go to governments, we can go to companies, large, small, medium size, and offer them an integrated solution. So that was very attractive. The culture is very, very important. I mean, Larry's right about that, okay? And the chemistry between our founding partners and Larry's team, fantastic. And maybe it's the first Boston DNA that all of us have that share. Maybe that's what does it. And then I think the third thing that was very important to us was we actually went and studied what BlackRock has done when they've made acquisitions, okay? And the good news is they have grown the businesses. They bought the BGI business, $300 billion of assets. Today, $10 trillion. They bought the first reserve infrastructure business. They've tripled the size of that. So I've gotten the subliminal message about from Larry as to what tripling, at least tripling. Is what he expects. So that's why we decided to do this. And I don't really consider this as, giving up. This is building a new partnership that allows us to take this business to a much higher level.
Just briefly here at the end, is the opportunity because of climate? But for the concerns with climate, would the same opportunity exist for infrastructure?
That's only one part of the growth of infrastructure. In the United States, we have $2 trillion of deferred maintenance. Think about, as the world's middle class grows, the demand for air travel. Most of the airports in the world are rather poor and antiquated, and GIP has had a great track record improving the quality of services at airports. The need for speed in ports, we saw that during COVID, the backlog, and the need to create more resiliency at ports. So I would argue decarbonization is obviously a major component of it, but we should not lose light of the need to be constantly upgrading and growing. And then when you talk about if we are going to really have a more equal world, we have to find ways of lifting more of the global south.